Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped. Something.
I wasn't expecting that either.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Any parts that you'd like to explore today?
Yeah, give me just a second. Let me think about which one. Well, the first one that popped to mind was when I sit to do my check-ins.
Yeah.
In the morning, usually I'm still in bed and I'll go, okay, I'm going to check in. And then immediately my mind starts going 1,000 other places. And then I'll go, oh yeah, I'm checking in, and I'll go back and I go, okay. And then it'll go again. It's just that distraction.
Yeah. Is there a specific time, within the check-in? So how far do you get? Is there kind of a time and place where you're more likely to get distracted that you've noticed?
As soon as I say I'm checking in, and then I'll imagine the parts, and then my mind's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as I'm checking, if I'm able to bring it back and check in, then, I might spend a few seconds with a part, and then it'll be gone again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the few seconds that you spend, does it feel like a dialogue? I'm wondering if it feels like, because you said you're imagining the parts, and I'm wondering if that means you're thinking about them, or if you get to the part where it's okay, this is a dialogue. I'm talking to a part now.
There doesn't seem to be a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
It seems to be more I try to give them hugs.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time even getting to dialogue because the mind just goes away. So I guess I'm trying to like at least give them hugs before the mind goes away again, you know?
Yeah. And is distraction a problem like when you're working with me?
No. I mean, occasionally, but not for the most part, no.
Okay. Maybe you could, I mean, if it's helpful, you could just show me your process. If that's possible, you could like try to do it out loud a little and just see, you know, because, yeah, well, so here's my thinking. Like normally it's you and me, we're having a dialogue. And so if you just kind of take me out of the room a little, so that I'm watching through the window, but it's you with the parts. I wonder if that would be like a compromise that.
Yeah, I can try. So lately I've been focusing on the exiles from the last several sessions, and usually I start with the one that looks like a I feel strange for saying this, but she looks like a Holocaust survivor, like, but she's very like starved and
Yes,
you know, like dark circles and kind of wasted away.
Yes.
And I just kind of acknowledge her and hi, it's good to see you. How are you feeling? And she doesn't really speak, but she seems happy to see me. And I give her a hug.
Yeah.
She seems like she's doing well. She's still starving, but she's taller. She's grown. More like a teenager. And usually that's as far as I get. And then I move to the next one. The boy, the busy boy, you know, who's fixing all the parts. And I say, hey, how are you doing? And he seems okay. Like, yeah, again, I don't really hear, anything. Is this what you're talking about? Or you want me to actually do? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you can do it however you like, but I just wanted to point out that, you know, if the parts seem okay, I mean, I would always, you know, kind of double check, but sometimes, at least for me, it's like, well, if they're okay, then we're okay, you know, and sometimes that's all that my check-in is I'm not finding parts that aren't okay. We're good.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Another suggestion might be, you know, to just kind of follow just basically the steps that we do together, which is like, you know, I'm starting by asking you if there's a part you want to get to know better. And pretty much every time, you know, you're finding a trailhead, you're finding a part that's something that's not okay.
Yeah.
So That would be my only suggestion, is just to look for those parts that aren't feeling okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
So what happens if you do that now?
Okay. Yeah, there's a part that's scared. And it's been triggered by the book, releasing the book.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of fears come up about, kids being in abusive situations and, feeling helpless. You know, the what if, kids come to me and they want help, and then there's like nothing I can do.
Great. What's next?
What do you mean?
Well, you've identified a part or something that doesn't feel okay.
Okay. Where do I feel it in or around my body? I feel it like in my head. It's almost like how like a kid clings to an adult's leg, but like my head is clinging to my head. And how do I feel towards that part? I want to answer honestly, so let me sit for a second. I guess part of me feels, there's a part that feels kind of frustrated and annoyed.
Yeah.
But I also feel like curious and compassionate. So should I ask the annoyed part if I can spend some time getting to know it?
Yeah, it or any part you'd like to get to know, whether that's the.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's okay letting me get to know it. And that's the part what it wants me to know, the scared part, what it wants me to know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of surprised, but it showed me like a whole bunch of kids surrounding me and almost like zombies, like coming after me. And then I'm like drowning. I'm like sinking down and drowning and just helpless and dying, basically.
Yeah.
And that it does make sense to me.
Yeah, that it's feeling that way.
Yeah. You know, not that kids are, you know, I don't see kids as like zombies trying to kill me, but the helplessness, the helplessness and the sinking.
Yeah, resonates.
Makes sense. Yeah. And how do I feel? Is that next?
Yeah, it's always a good one.
How do I feel? Yeah, I feel compassionate. Yeah, it's scary. And maybe should I ask what it's afraid of? Oh, I see. It's like clinging to my head so that I guess that's why it's at the top, like so that it doesn't sink and drown or whatever. But it's afraid if it lets go, then it will be taken over by that helpless feeling and all the kids that need help, you know?
Yeah.
And that does make sense to me. So, what's next? Asking if it doesn't have to do that job, what would I want to do? Or
yeah, that's usually what I'll ask if it feels like it's a protective part. And then if it feels like an exile part, I'll usually go a little more just deeper into trust building.
Okay. I don't know. I think maybe it's a protective part. What did you have any insight?
I think that's a good, first assumption. You can always ask it that. You can also ask about its age. That's often sometimes helps. Either way, you could ask protector questions to an exile part, and that's okay.
Okay. Well, it seems to be young. So I asked about what job it would want to do, and is just confused. Like, I just want to be safe.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how old are you? Said 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked, like, what do you recommend for the trust part? Like, how old do you think I am?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm sitting with it, and now it's letting me hold it, and I'm asking what it wants me to know from the past.
Yeah.
It's showing me the time, there's that little girl. I think I might have told you the story about how I had a little girlfriend who was around 3 that she came over and she was taking a bath, and she pooped in the tub, and then she was just terrified that her dad was gonna find her, and I could just see the terror, find out that she did that, and I could see the terror in her eyes, and I just froze. I didn't know what to do. I felt so helpless. Like, I wished I could help her, and and I couldn't even help myself. And there's a time when I was working in pediatrics, and there was a girl who I just knew was being molested. She didn't tell me, but she had the symptoms, and I called social services, but her dad had intimidated her into not saying anything. And, just another situation where I was helpless. And that was like 20 years ago, and I still think about it.
Yeah. And how are you feeling as the part shows you these different memories?
I'm feeling like I understand. Why it's so hard to feel helpless. And why that fear comes up. And how I wish I could get rid of all the monsters.
And now where's the level of trust with this part?
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, trust me.
I just want to point out that, there's never any obligation to go further in any of your parts work. So, you've already done a whole lot just in this 20 or 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And especially if you do have a practice of checking in every day, it's not always the best time to go all the way or to do the deep unburdening with exiles, for example.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that you're not feeling like pressured to do this, because the goal is to make it something that you look forward to. That's I don't know about the word enjoyable, but it's something you look forward to,
Yeah.
And so I think of it kind of like exercise or something, where it's like, whatever you do, don't do it till you're at a point of like hating it,
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I do put pressure around it. Like, it does, it does often feel like a chore. Yeah.
Sure. And you can even check in with the parts. You can say, I think it might even be a better or help you to go deeper if let's just, I'll put numbers on it. Let's say that going all unburdening and exile, let's say that takes an hour or 45 minutes or something, and you only want to spend 20 minutes doing, or you're willing to spend 20 minutes a day or something, or 15.
Yeah.
If you have that agreement with parts to say, when you get to your 15 minutes and you say, okay, like, can we pick this up tomorrow? How would you feel? Yeah. And when they see that those promises are real and that you mean it, it might even be more efficient.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I do tend to work better if I have like a time constraint. So
yeah. And I can only speak from my own experience, but it's pretty rare that I'm doing my own parts work beyond about 20 minutes. Because if I get to a place like this where it's like, wow, I've met this part, I've learned all this new stuff about this part, I've understood really where the fear comes from, and I've started building trust with it. That's huge, I think.
Yeah.
So what would you like to do next? What feels right for you?
It feels like, I feel like I relate to what you're saying, and that it feels good for today.
Yeah.
To stop here.
Yeah. It's awesome. You did it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. So, do you see yourself, I don't know. Do you see yourself doing that on your own?
I'd definitely like to try.
Yeah. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think setting a timer and, having, more of like a ritual around it might help.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful. You did great.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing all that.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear what goes on next.
Thank you.
Okay. Talk to you in a week or so.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.